As we all paid attention to the Department of Justice's brief yesterday and the actions that were taken against Binance, we're seeing another company, Tether, cozy up to the state very quietly. What exactly is going on at Tether? Welcome back, everyone. And for the people in the United States, happy Thanksgiving. So look, yesterday we were all paying attention to the Binance stuff, right? There was the Department of Justice that did their brief explaining what the charges were against CZ, explaining what the charges were against Binance, right? Binance has to pay $4.3 billion. CZ himself has to pay $150 million. Big show, right? Big show. The DOJ, the DOJ making sure that everybody knows you got to play by the rules. I actually think that the story we're going to cover today is way more significant. And I know it sounds crazy. Tinfoil hat take. I actually think that whole DOJ thing, that what we saw about Binance, was just kind of part of the noise to cover up maybe what's going on at other companies that's a little bit weirder and more tied into some of the really quote unquote high up elite money in the world. Anyways, let's dive into this. Here we go. Cryptocurrency firm Tether freezes $225 million linked to human trafficking. Take a look at that. This came out on November 20th, right? The day before the Binance and DOJ news. Tether froze the $225 million after the DOJ and the U.S. Secret Service launched an investigation into a human trafficking group that was using Tether for a worldwide pig butchering romance scam. And I had actually never heard of what that was before. I just learned what it was reading through this article. So pig butchering romance scams, by definition, are a type of fraud in which criminals lure victims into digital relationships to build trust before convincing them to invest in cryptocurrency platforms. The U.S. Secret Service asked Tether to freeze the tokens during a months-long investigative effort by Tether and the crypto exchange, OKX. Tether and OKX collaborated with the U.S. Department of Justice on the investigation, Tether said, without elaborating. Our recent assistance to the Department of Justice underscores our dedication to fostering a secure environment. Remember, I don't know if any of you saw the clip that I did about Tether essentially buying $72.5 billion of U.S. Treasuries. To me, it's no secret, it's no surprise that Tether has been cozying up to the state, right? The state enforces violence, right? The state can essentially make your business obsolete, make your business disappear. So who better than to cozy up to than the state? In 2011, the co-founder of Tether, Brock Pierce, was invited to speak at Jeffrey Epstein's Mindshift event at Epstein's Island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Holy crap. Let's be honest, right? Without going too far into the weeds, that Epstein list, right? All those people who flew to that island, all those names, they don't seem to exist. But you see, Brock Pierce is a very kind of big personality in the crypto space and is responsible for funding many projects. And it's really creepy, right? Because the type of scam that Tether that Tether had just stopped, for the people who know Brock Pierce's history, you know that, unfortunately he was abused as a child actor, and unfortunately what he did was he brought other actors in to be abused. There's a whole documentary about this, but it's really strange, right? That Tether seems to have these ties, because for the people who don't know, Brock Pierce was one of the major investors in Tether, right? And so we see these very close ties to the state, number one. And number two, now we're seeing, so we see the major treasury purchases from Tether. Now, all of a sudden, we see Tether collaborating with the Department of Justice. So it's really interesting that yesterday the Department of Justice announced this whole, this whole entire um, proceeding against Binance, was it all just noise to kind of cover up what's going on elsewhere, right? Like oftentimes I always think of it like a magic show, right? They tell you to pay attention to this hand so you don't see what this hand is doing. So, anyways, it's really weird. It's really creepy. And again, this is kind of why I just stick to Bitcoin only. A lot of this other stuff, look, when you have a new space, a new-ish space, right? Let's face it, Bitcoin's only been around for 14 years. Uh, the Essentially some of the shadiest characters are going to end up in this space. So you're going to have a spectrum, right? You're going to have a spectrum of like extremely shady characters, but you're also going to have like the spectrum of the other side of people who are truly altruistic, um, or at least you want to do more good than they want to receive a whole bunch of money. So you end up having this whole spectrum of people in the space, and I just don't think this is a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence with Tether. I don't think it's a coincidence that they've been buying treasury bonds. None of this is okay. And then on top of that, right? Like Tether stops these transactions, and it just so happens that this type of behavior also has to do with Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce is linked to Jeffrey Epstein. I Anyways, this is it, it's all just way too creepy. It's all just way too creepy. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. I'm wishing everyone again a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I will catch you all on a new clip next week. That's right, because I'm going to take a couple of days off from making clips, but have no fear. We're going to have the shorts up each day. We're still recording our weekly episode on Friday, and we're going to have fellow memer Greg Zaj joining us. So it should be an absolutely awesome episode. Anyways, I will catch you guys all next week.